It's an interesting thing because a lot of these conversations that there's a lot of polarization and friction are conversations that women had together, and they were just having them in with their friends and maybe different women all the time. But now they're having shows online that women are talking about this stuff, and for years and all our lives and for generations and
Send me this
generations.
stuff. I want to watch it.
What was that?
Send me some of this stuff you're referring to. I want to watch it.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure you've seen these things in certain ways, but they like have these conversations that they have when nobody's around, and then all of a sudden that stuff's coming out of closet and online, and then people are like, I've never heard anybody talk like this, so it must not be true, or that hasn't been my experience. And we're all really subconsciously and consciously learning stuff about each other, and those conversations in an enlightened society would have happened generations and generations and hundreds and thousands of years ago. But since we're not living in enlightened societies, and I believe none of us are enlightened, we this conversations are like so mind numbing to, because we haven't caught up with we haven't evolved to catch up with the technology, that all of a sudden I'm seeing a closeted conversation that somebody's had in real time about what it's like to be African American, what it's like to be a woman, what it's like to be gay, what it's like to, and then all of a sudden there's so much pushback because people think it's not true because it's not real to them.
Yeah, but let's not forget to go out into the bars at night and listen to those stories where you can get them as well.
Yeah, for sure. I've been able to not react and be able to hear a lot of these conversations, overhear a lot of these conversations, and people will like look and I'm just not even making any facial expressions, and I'm just like sitting right here looking like I'm thinking about my taxes, and I'm listening to conversations around me, and you hear like interesting uncensored conversations. Yeah. And I would think like if I was dressed in a suit and I had my face like this, then people would be like changing their conversations just based on me being there. Because imagine people openly talk about, like, it's funny that I don't think about the stigma of cannabis that much, because people openly talk about cannabis around me. You'll get a grandmother. She's like, oh, I've always been against cannabis. And then all of a sudden, and I'm just like, I just met this lady 15 seconds ago. Yeah, and all of a sudden she's telling me that she started smoking weed like 6 months ago. Somebody that like, it just like all of a sudden comes up there. Yeah. So
I saw a grandmother in Tenerife with a pro weed shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So it's
people are realizing that it can help.
So,
oh man, I remember having a cold, and I did all these pills, the regular stuff that you take when you have a cold. Yeah, and it was already half the day was over. It was still miserable. And then I just thought, hey, why don't I smoke a blunt? Like some. I asked my next door and get some. Not without tobacco, because I'm really like get addicted to that stuff. But hey. I was so fine, and the next day I was so well. I was the moment I'd smoked it, I didn't have a cold anymore. I was just feeling good. So don't tell me that that's not good, and that's amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not saying it always works, but it worked in that case. It really worked for me.
Yeah. So going back into censorship and opening and being able to learn something. One of the things I do, and I call it like how to make dream killers. Like you're the best for you.
That's so crazy you're saying that, because I wanted just a second ago, I was looking it up. Maybe you saw my face lightening up, because I was looking up the English word for Auftragskiller, which is job killer. And I wanted to tell you about this conversation I had with a job killer in San Diego when I was there.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me about it.
No, you first, and then I tell you.